Is it wrong for me to show you how I feel when I feel?
No, it's not.
I want my normal life back.
Watching me till the morning sun rises. Wait with me, just wait with me till then.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our 6 p.m. Saturday session. And today we will be talking about lesbian relationships. But before we get into that, my name is Ray Castillo. I'm the founder CEO of Price Support Services.
I'm Xavier, Director of Operations.
And we will present our guest in a minute, but we wanted to take some time to actually talk just briefly about what Price Support Services is at and what we do. So Xavier, tell us a little bit about who we are and what we do.
Perfect. Price Support Services was founded with the purpose to support the community. We are both in the mental health field, and it's our passion. And we thought, why not bring our passion into the community? So the sole purpose of Pride Support Services is to have people be the best version of themselves, encourage people in being the best version of themselves, whoever they are and whatever that is. So we came with this idea of just supporting our community, bringing mental health and support groups and any other ancillary support services that we can find through engagement in the community to be able to serve our community the best way we can and know how to.
Yes, and I want to say that we are a nonprofit organization, right? So, and what we provide to our community, to our LGBTQIA plus community, is services regardless of their ability to pay, right? So we just want to let you all know that we are here for you, that we love to serve you. You can contact us. All of our contact information is on Facebook. The easiest way to get a hold of us, if you have any questions or you want to get through us, our numbers are there, but also through info@pricesupportservices.org. Okay. But welcome, and we would like to introduce our two guests today. We welcome both of them. We're very excited to have them. We have with us Dawn Pugh and Ciara Lilly, and I will just let whichever one. Let's say Dawn, if you wanted to go ahead and say hello, introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi guys and gals. I'm Dawn Pugh, and I am very excited to be here with you. I think that the work that your group is doing is very important, and looking forward to seeing how you grow in our community.
Thank you. And we have Ciara Lilly with us. Ciara, say hello and introduce yourself.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. I too share in the excitement for this discussion. Having watched the film, it was so profound. So I look forward to the dialogue, and thank you all for having me.
Thank you for being here, both of you.
All right. So let's go ahead and jump in the first part of the discussion, which is based on the movie, right? Mm-hmm. And I do want to say that normally, and our viewers that normally see us, we always post two movies, and then everyone has the ability to vote for whichever movie they like for us to watch and discuss related to the weekly topic. This week, our topic has been in relation to lesbian relationships, right? And Rafiki happened to be the one movie that some of our voters voted for. Therefore, we watched it, and I want to say that this movie was yet one of the best ones, if not the best one that I have seen yet, as far as our discussion and everything. I loved it. And, you know, I want to just point out a couple of different things from the plot. So this particular movie, and we want to put out the disclosure, as we always do, that when we do these discussions, the reason we select the movie is because we want to just, during this pandemic situation, we want our viewers to watch something prior to having this discussion. Mm-hmm. And we use it as a point of reference, right? So by no means we are saying that exactly how the movie is how it is in real life. I always say that your story is your story and no one else's. And you know, everybody has a different process and a different way of their own particular experience. This movie takes place in Kenya, Africa. And I was kind of excited to see something different than what we're traditionally see in the US. So that caught my attention right away. And so this takes place, like I said, in Kenya. And it's two Kenyan girls, Kena
and Ziki.
Kena and Ziki. And what I like about this is that it is a love story, right? That depicts from the, both from a political almost debate between both of their fathers, right? But despite all that rivalry and everything that was taking place, there is a love that grows between these two girls, and the movie takes on. And we want to say that, however, when this happens, then there's always that other side to the story, which may not be pleasant all the time. We know that these two girls had to face, the realities of that country's views on lesbian relationships or gay relationships in general.
Yeah. And I think it's very interesting, Ray, because we always, and those of you who have been with us throughout our lives know that usually the comments always kind of spiral around, well, the movie did not necessarily represent the reality of what a lot of LGBTQAI plus people go through. But I think particularly this movie did really well at kind of portraying how it is like for two, same-sex people to fall in love in a culture where it is not accepted whatsoever. And I think that was one of the most impactful things about this movie. Obviously, I'm a sucker. Everyone knows I'm a sucker for drama and love. I love love. So it was just heartwarming for me, and
Yes.
it was a great movie. It was a great selection. So thank you guys.
Yeah,
I would give you 2 thumbs up. It was a good movie. I watched it twice.
I loved it.
Really
It
was.
was like I said, honestly speaking, it's been the best movie I've watched yet. I really connected with it. And when we talk about and Dawn and Ciara, you're more than welcome to jump in whenever you want. But when we talk about the reality of the discrimination, right, that these two young girls face in Kenya, in a country that is not acceptable or not well received, right? But even in our own backyards, we're still faced with those situations. So
So I'm just gonna put a little blurb in there, is that this movie is actually quite accurate in what lesbians are dealing with in South Africa. My wife and I, we have 2 special needs kids, and our second au pair was from South Africa, and she was a lesbian. We brought her here specifically for that, even though she was, very young, and too young for our family. But to hear the stories that she had when I was watching this, and that's why I watched it twice, because I was like, oh, this is what Napati was trying to tell me. And I didn't admit, because I couldn't pair her words with reality. It really resonated with me. And again, great choice.
Thank you, Ciara. What is your take on this movie?
For me personally, I connected with it on so many levels, because it was very similar to what it was like coming out in the South and coming out in a family that was really religious too. So there were so many elements of this movie that it was almost seeing my coming out story, replayed. So, just those layers, knowing that in Kenya, that's still, a very real, situation. And then coming here and looking at, there's still instances where we have to walk on eggshells, especially when we are put in this, in the South, and we couple that with what religion, the influence religion has in the South specifically. There were just so many layers. And so I look forward to kind of peeling those back, but definitely it pierced me on a very personal level.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was a great movie, and we have some of the quotes here from the movie that kind of impacted us. At one point, they are talking to each other, and I think it was Zeke that said to Kenna, she said, "I wish this was real." And going back to what Ciara was saying, that was kind of that hit home because that was kind of where I was at one point in my life. You know, when back when I was an adolescent and I had to sneak around, you know, and wishing this was real, and it's I don't know. I have a loss of words, really.
Yeah. No, and I think especially when you are brought up in a religious household, you're told that it's not real. That, you know, the whole idea that it's something demonic, right? That's a common, you know, theme, and it's a belief that is had very strongly. So I feel like I connected with it. I'm like, that is exactly, I can remember thinking like, I wish this was real for me. And it wasn't until I started to dig deeper into, you know, who I was and surrounded myself around affirming people that I was able to dig deeper. But had I not really developed and defined what spirituality would be for me personally, I don't know that I would have been able to walk in my truth. So it's a very real conversation that we should
They
have.
take her to church and do a whole like seance and everything.
Yeah, I grew up in holiness, and
oh God,
you know,
say no more.
Yeah, and my mom is also a lesbian. Go figure that out. And so, like, when I was watching that, my heart just like broke for her because you know that she doesn't believe in that, and she's doing it for her parents, and because she is young and doesn't know what else to do.
Yeah, it was very I think well and I personally like Ciara was saying, I think if it weren't because, you know, you find it in yourself to kind of look for your own path, you know, religiously or morally speaking, it's very difficult for a lot of people to be who they are.
I wanna, while we're doing this discussion, I wanna invite people to put, you know, if you have a question or comments, and we have a couple comments from Jennifer Meadows. Jennifer, hello, and thank you so much for participating. So we're gonna read some of her comments that she posted.
Yeah, she says, my experience felt similar, but religion was the basis of the abuse. And then she says, yes, or that something is wrong with you that needs to be fixed. And then talking about the scene, I think it was Jennifer, the seance where they have her in church. She said that scene was rough. Her eyes said everything. Yeah.
I want to, you know, and most of us that have come from Christian traditional homes, like I did myself for so many years, the struggle is real. The struggle is really difficult. You know, where do I stand with my you know, my own beliefs, who I feel inside, who I know who I am, and then, you know, on top of that, my family, right? So definitely it was, and going back to this one sentence that she said, you know, she says, I wish this was real, and then Kenna says it is, but she said when we go out there, right? She was referring to in the world, right? In a society that does not allow us to be free. So yeah, and we wanted to point out another pointer about the movie, and it was the mother of Kenna when Kenna was dressing up in that dress, and she made such a statement of like, she looks like a woman or something like that. How hard, you know, I put myself in that situation because going back, and this is not about me, but going back to those moments of myself when I try to be so manly so no one judges or judge me for who I was.
Your sexuality, of course. Of course. Yeah, but what is a woman supposed to look like, really?
I mean, that's up to the individual, right? I mean, you know, do you guys have any comments on that?
Yeah. That particular like piece in the movie, I thought that it was probably more one of the more lighthearted pieces. And I felt like maybe the character, and this is just my opinion, was also taking it very lightheartedly, like, ha ha ha, they want me to get an address. And I've experienced that as, I don't call myself a femme, but for purposes of this conversation, I am. And, you know, when I get my girlfriends and now wife, well, girlfriends, because she won't wear a dress, you know, when we would do that, they took it lightheartedly. And I felt like in the movie that Kenna was taking it lightheartedly as well, and not necessarily like co-signing what her mother said, but more entertaining her girlfriend.
Yeah. And, you know, for me, it's funny because for so long, it wasn't until I met my wife now, but was my girlfriend before. And I had long hair. I had this dress. I had all of the things that you would put under that nice, proper woman, as Kenna's mom mentioned, right? I had all of those things. And one day, my wife said, you know, why are you wearing that? That's not who you are. And immediately I'm like, you know, it isn't, but it was her giving me permission that allowed me to then go and say, you know what, no more. And I literally I threw out all of my feminine clothing. I went and bought all of these, you know, men's clothing. I cut my hair. It was literally one day I left the office on a Friday. I looked completely different when I got there on Monday. And it was, you know, that was the most liberating experience. So I felt that because I knew all those years prior to, we're talking well into my 20s, I was trying to just fit the image that was, you know, projected on me. And I was so unhappy, right? But it took someone saying, hey, that's not who you are. You can do this, to give me the courage to say, absolutely. And I haven't looked back. And everyone just had to deal with it, right? If you want me in your life, you just have to deal with it. But I also was aware that I could do that from a place of privilege because I wasn't living at home anymore. I had already, you know, I was in college, you know, I knew that I was self-sufficient in a certain, you know, degree. So there, I acknowledged that I also had that privilege and I had someone that gave me permission to be who I was. And I think that is so important when we talk about that.
It was, and that's definitely, you know, it's empowering when you can finally be who you are, and we've disclosed, me and Ray have disclosed this in many of our discussions in group and in our lives. You know, we were both married to women for many years, and you know, we're professionals. We went on with our lives. We, you know, Ray raised his children. I have a 6-year-old boy. And then when you finally get that courage to just say, you know what, F this, I am going to be who I want to be. It's like the weight that is lifted off your shoulders is so empowering. And it's made me very unapologetic about who I am. I don't apologize, never, ever apologize for who I am, and never will. So, so here we are.
Now, I want to read a comment on Jennifer. Jennifer, I'm just going through it, but it says, my mom and stepdad had no problem with me until I came out, and then suddenly they acted as if they didn't know me at all. And that's you know, that's a sad truth for most people. Most cases, you know, they have that similar reaction to where, you know, even friends, right, and other family members. You know, I had to distance myself for a little bit. My family never gave me their back. They were there, but I had to do a spring clean to my Facebook account, you know, because people started all of a sudden posting things against my face. And so I had to, you know, do pretty much that, right? Julia made a comment.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that with us.
Yes. Julia, thank you, Julia, for sharing. Says, I thought the moment where Kenya's mom says, something is different about you, and then immediately asks if there is a boy was very important. That's a very interesting point.
The assumption, right?
Right.
I learned very, very early on when I got my first job at 18 years old. My boss said, every time you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
That's right.
And I'll never forget that.
Are you from the South?
All right, we'll get back to a little of the comments, but let's skip a little bit ahead of this. One of the things that we find, that I loved was, that if you guys recall that scene where Kenya and Ziki are in the church, and Ziki is trying to touch her, and Kenya is like, pushing her away to that moment of getting up and going, and then she tells her, "Just be you," right? What a courage, right? But at the same time, what a struggle for
Kenna.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that it's real and it happens. I don't know.
It happens even for us as openly, queer people. When we walk down the street and we try to hold our partner's hands and we're getting looks left and right, especially in the South. I remember clearly, I went to San Francisco with my partner, and we went to the Castro district, and, he grew up in the South. So for him, it was this situation of, like Ken, I was like, okay, yeah, we need to behave a certain type of way. And then when we went to San Francisco, we walked down the street and he grabbed my hand and he was like, we're going to walk down the street. We're going to walk down the street holding hands. I was like, okay, let's walk down the street holding hands. And it was a powerful moment for the both of us to kind of be in a place where we didn't care and we didn't have to care.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Some of that relates to age.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I think for the younger people, well, I think it not only age, but also, culture and I think the way you were raised as well. My partner was raised in a very, very conservative, religious environment. And I was not. I was raised in a very open-minded family. So for me, coming out was very different, even though I came out late in life. It was easy for me to be very unapologetic about who I am. For him, it wasn't as much. Being raised in the South, we stayed where he grew up. So he knows a lot of people. So, he feels sometimes that, he doesn't want to kind of give explanations to anyone. But yeah, definitely, Dawn, I think, age and culture and where you're raised and how you were raised definitely plays a...
from your family is super important. Probably the most important factor.
Definitely. Absolutely.
So I wanted to say first, Vicky, thank you for your comment. Great conversation. And Jennifer, again, saying that it's such an awful feeling to let go of your partner's hands. Absolutely. I think the moments that I do take advantage, honestly, I don't know about you guys, but it's pride. When pride is out there, I hang on. Right, I hang on to my partner, and I'm like, so proud. Right, it's that's our moment and our environment where we feel safe to do so. I wanted to go into one of the going back to that church component and that religious component. The comment that Kenya's mom makes about she will never be cleaned. Demons have possessed this child, and she tells the dad. I don't know if you guys, I know Ciara, you come also from a religious background practice. I don't know if you've heard this before. I know I have.
Oh yeah. It that exact scene. I remember when I came out officially, that one of the first things that my family chose to do was take me to church. And they had literally the preacher and the deacons all around me, and they were laying hands on me, and they were doing that exact scene. And so I totally related to it. You know, it's pray
Here,
away the gay.
I'm sorry, I may have missed it. What religion did you grow up in?
So we grew up Southern Baptist.
Oh.
And it's funny because we grew up Southern Baptist. When I left for college, I went to a Southern Baptist university. My intent was to go into ministry, but all of this that happened had such a profound impact on me that I decided to go in a different direction, because I was like, I can't possibly, you know, fit in under what I know religion to be. But that exact scene happened to me. The pray away the gay, the making sure that I couldn't see the person that I was dating at the time, because that person was a member of our church. So all of that was just like literally me watching my life unfold.
Yeah, Dawn, I know that you also have some spirituality in your life. What did you have something similar to this, or what was your experience like?
I feel selfish to say this, but I had a really, really great coming out experience.
Awesome.
I came out when I was 15 in a very small town, Darlington, South Carolina. And I had very open-minded, well, my childhood is very interesting, but at this time I was living with my dad and my stepmom, and they were very open-minded, and they would just like call me Katie Lang, rather, because my initials are KD, so it's Katie Amerson. They would just say Katie Lang. And then I got caught kissing my girlfriend in the bathroom at 15, and I got suspended. And my dad went to the school and basically read the principal his rights and said, you know, I see teenagers kissing each other all the time when I drop my daughter off at school. Like, why are you doing this? And it didn't, you know, they still suspended me, but the fact that like he stood up for me was really important. I still had to do community service because I got suspended. But the girl at the time, her parents, I guess, were very much like maybe Sierra's parents. And I had to beg the principal not to call her parents because she would have probably experienced something very similar. And the principal honored it, and, you know, we, you know, had to deal with these circumstances for 3 years. We were together for a very long time. But yeah, I was really fortunate.
Yeah, I want to say, Julia, thank you for writing us, and thank you for your comment. And yes, it is a horrific experience. That's why I'm totally against conversion therapy. You know, we're mental health workers, and I'm totally against it because it does that. It puts a person in a state of mind to think that there's something wrong with them, that it's a demonic possession, and they pull all these different things and make you do all these different things that are completely, in my personal opinion, insane. So yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And Michael said something about, sadly, religion has been used to marginalize our community. Absolutely, that's a big one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Fernando said, it's so hard when you have to fight against your religion. Yeah, and that a worldwide issue. Catholic, Latino here. That is so true. That is so true. So let's go into the discussion part one, and let's just go on just the basics of what a lesbian is. Go ahead.
Well, obviously, a lesbian is a woman that is attracted to another woman, and this attraction can be physical, emotional, or social.
It's like sexual.
Sexual. I'm sorry. I need new glasses. If you are a woman attracted to another woman, you could be a lesbian, bisexual, or a straight woman attracted to a friend. While the lesbian term is used to describe themselves Others prefer gay, queer, or no label at all, which is perfectly fine. You do you, and you label or not label yourself as you want to label or not yourself.
And we want to write a little or say a little disclosure that these sources were grabbed by the mental health issues lesbian women cope with and what is a lesbian from the Healthy Place Online Journal. So we always credit our sources that we get the information from because we always say we're not experts and when it comes to a particular community. However, we do educate ourselves with what is out there already and, articles that have been peer reviewed and such. So what is you guys' take? I'm curious from you both, the description of a lesbian woman, right? What is in your opinion, what does that look like?
Ciara, do you want to please?
Listen, I aligned perfectly with the description that you all provided. I've always traditionally thought it's a woman that's attracted to another woman. That I keep it pretty basic, and there may be some other, components, Dawn, that you add to it, but that was my connection. I resonated with that.
Awesome. No, I'll co-sign that.
Yeah. Hey,
I
guys,
basically think that all women are lesbians in some capacity.
There you go. Listen, I'm with that. So let me. Can you guys see me on the? Because I'm getting a great.
Yeah. You're totally.
You can see me. Okay. All right. I can't see myself anymore.
No,
okay.
You're good.
Right.
You're good.
I can't see myself anymore. It turned green, and I was like, oh. OMG. Okay, good.
You broke it, Ciara. You broke it. That's why we can't keep nice things.
The internet girl.
Listen. So here's the deal. You guys have saved AT&T because I was going to call them and be like, "This internet is so unreliable." But now you guys can see me. I can save that for another time.
Let's
save the fuss. Save the fuss.
Yes. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the unique mental health issues that are within the lesbian community and the lesbian women, right? And I made a point to say unique, right? Because I always want to say that although we're part of this queer umbrella, right? Every community is different in so many different ways, and even within the subculture of the community, every person is an individual and different. And I always want to say that, right? So making sure that we understand that we're all members of the LGBT umbrella. However, we as a community face different issues, right?
Definitely. So it says more so than other members of the LGBT community, feeling pressure to label themselves with terms such as femme, alpha, or butch.
Yeah, and that's pretty interesting. And I really wanted to kind of address that. And I'm curious to know what you guys think about that, right? Because a lot of people out there, and I've heard it from, within the heterosexual community, when, they refer to all lesbians as butch. Oh, butch lesbian or this and that. And although these are identifiers, what is your take on that? What do you guys think about that?
Okay.
Go ahead,
So I think that they're archaic, and there are still terms for lesbians, and it's more like stud and femme. But and those are for the young kids, right? And please, like, that's not an insult if anyone is young is watching. But I think the rest of us are just like, I like this person likes me, and that's where it goes. Maybe when I was younger, it might have been more important that someone like classified themselves, in a certain space, but it was just because that was lesbian culture then. That's not lesbian culture now. Yeah. I would never, like I said, I came out when I was 15. I wouldn't date a woman that wore makeup. But my wife that I've been with for 10 years now, she wore makeup when I met her, and it, we're good. We have 2 kids, and we're making it work. So
yeah,
just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. It's funny. So I, in a way, was polar opposite to Dawn in that I wouldn't date a woman that did not wear makeup. So I had this, I was projecting, I feel like, labels on women that I dated, and almost putting them in these little boxes, not even realizing it, if I'm completely honest. But I also did it with myself, because when I had long hair, and even as I was wearing, starting to introduce less feminine clothing into my wardrobe, I was still getting hit on by men. And it was so frustrating. I'm like, okay, this is, what do I have to do? Right. And it still happens. And I'm like, okay, I can't, but I have to navigate it. But I was so intentional about not wanting to look feminine. But I did not connect with.
It's an age thing, because like we all have this,
right?
This, even if you're heterosexual, like you have this path to becoming the person that you are. It just so happens that the lesbian experience or gay male experience, I can't speak to that, but I'd have to assume, like, we're maturing and dealing with this extra piece.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think you have to, especially in our relationship, there was this dynamic of, if we weren't clear about, who's the more masculine one and who's the more feminine one, we were put in situations that were awkward, because we were in situations where men would try to hit on both of us, right? And it was like, and it didn't feel safe, right? It didn't feel safe, because we then had to have a conversation and confront their, and challenge their ego, right? And when you challenge their ego, you get yourself in situations that can be confrontational, right? And so there was like, we need to quickly define what we're going to be, and let's play those roles. But now I'm feeling like this need to kind of break out of that and just be like, whatever. Like, why do I have to have a label?
Like, whatever.
Right?
Why are you even asking me?
Yeah.
There you go.
And I think that's what makes. I always like to say, and this is my opinion, I think that's what makes queer relationships so unique, is the fact that, we get asked, all of us as a queer community get constantly, who's the man and who's the woman? Well, bitch, nobody. We're both just two individuals who love each other, and we live together. There aren't any roles. There isn't a man and a woman. It's two men, two women who love each other. I don't think heterosexual couples should have defined roles,
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody.
And it's scientifically proven. And again, I love my heterosexual people. I love you guys. But it is a scientific fact that because of that, parenting in the queer world is more effective, as we as parents are more effective parents, because there aren't any social roles. We are a team. So
yeah, and I want to point out some of the things that have been said here. It says, who's the man in the relationship, which is that always upsets me when I ask. And when I started with my partner, we were, his mom doesn't really know much about our community, and she was totally okay, but she was asking so far, like, who has the role of cooking and who has the role of washing clothes and who has, it's like, no, he and I we're both men here. We both, have equal rights, and we both have equal duties as well. So,
and I apologize for cursing people.
That's,
I was going to suggest we put that on a T-shirt.
That's a good one.
Let that be noted.
Yes, and we're absolutely going to rock parenting, and I think we're doing a great job at that. So, talking about some assumptions and stereotypes about the lesbian community, which are very unwelcome, is that they hate men, that they have daddy issues, that they're more masculine than heterosexual women. Men molested them as children. That's the same thing for us. Lesbian sex does not count as real sex. Lesbians dress like men, and that they're more interested in sports. Some of these are the some of the stereotypes and assumptions that people have on the lesbian community. I don't know if you guys have can relate to these in somewhat. If you heard someone that has told you guys, or maybe assumed, and you had to kind of correct that. I don't know. What's your experience on that?
Well, I would say that, and then I'm going to hand it to Sierra because she might have more to add. But so women that want to be comfortable, they wear men's clothing because guess what? Women's clothing is not comfortable, and it doesn't fit every body type.
Right.
So Sierra, please.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
yeah. No. I think it's all of those I have heard, and many of those have been projected on me in several different instances, and especially when you are in corporate environments. I've noticed, corporate environments in male-dominated industries. There's this need that if you're going to be different, you have to fit inside some kind of box, right? Otherwise, they don't know how to handle you. They don't know how to play in the sandbox with you. They have to put you somewhere, right? And so this idea that because I'm married to a woman, I just do not like men at all.
Right.
I don't understand it. I have I have nothing against men, right? I just choose to not be with them sexually, right? Like it's that simple, right? So I find men to be attractive. I just don't want to be with them, right? And so that's the piece that there's this need for education.
Yes.
So it's these different environments where I'm surrounded by men, and these, what?
So piggybacking off
in these corporate environments, there's this need to educate. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dawn.
Sierra, you're on a delay, so I'm just talking over you because I think until I had children, all of my friends were men. So I love men, just so you know, all of them.
Yeah.
They're good kids of the world. I don't hate men. I don't want to have sex with them.
Exactly.
There's a difference there.
And it's interesting because I was having a conversation the other day with a heterosexual man, and we were talking about me being gay and all this stuff, and it came to a situation where he was commenting on how uncomfortable he feels around gay men because he feels that they're always undressing him with the looks. And I was like, you know what? It's interesting that you comment that. I said, next time you walk into a bar or walk into Lowe's and you're checking out that chick in the short dress and you're undressing her with your eyes, think about that. Because the same way you're undressing her and you're making her feel completely violated and uncomfortable, it's the same way that gay man is making you feel. So that same feeling that you feel when a gay man looks at you in a certain way, that's the same way she feels. So think about that next time.
That's all right.
Let's go ahead and jump into talking about relationship. So my question to you is what is your take on lesbian relationships from your personal experience?
Dawn, have at it. You kick us off.
So it depends on what type of relationship. I think that I am co-signing the U-Haul thing. I'm just going to because it's legitimate, especially among probably lesbians that are in my age group because our experiences were different. In that the pool is small. The pool is very small. I think if you talk to a lesbian that was, 35 or under, they wouldn't be co-signing U-Haul, right? Because they're not doing that. They're dating and they're going out and they have their own little thing. So again, it's an age thing. do you have a specific question about lesbian relationships? Because
no, just yeah, just what you shared, which is true, and you go back to that age component, and it's true, right? I think everybody's experience is different, especially in the age group that, in the category of the age group that you may be in, right? For people maybe over 30, 35, it's a kind of a little bit different than younger crowds and younger generation in that, especially in that dating scene, right? In the dating and going on and stuff. But yeah.
So, the last thing that I will say about that is that I have a lot of friends that are 38 plus that, it's tough for them because the pool is very small. Why? I don't know. I think it goes back to the U-Haul thing.
Right.
Ciara, I don't know, if you could like piggyback on that and talk about your experience.
Yeah.
I've been married for 7 years. I've been with my wife for almost 10. And all of my relationships have been long-term because the pool was small.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So I've been married for 5 years. I've been with my wife for going on 12 in December. And everyone would consider, based on our age, so I'll be 33 in July. She turns 35 in January. So we're, right in our early 30s when we met. I was still in college. She had recently graduated. And there was we dated for a long period of time before we were engaged. But the key piece here, and it's funny, the U-Haul relationship, like I can identify with that. I wouldn't have called it that at the time, but that's what it was. We met and I moved in with her all within a few months. Like it was very quick. I paid tuition, room and board, and I was never there, right? Because it was like, I'm just gonna move in. We just, let's just go there. So we did, and everything happened so quickly. And now I know that there's a term for that. But we were just living life, and and we have since just like built our lives together, right? But I think one of the things for me personally that's so different, because I dated men, throughout high school. And, one of the things in my relationship was this sense of how central the nurturing element is in my relationship. It's almost as though having been brought up in a culture that was very dismissive to how I felt, and, that shunned this, who I was. I found the nourishment in a woman, right, to build me back up and to help me reconnect to who I was at my core. I had never and could never have that with a man, right? Because, the whole thing is, if you're with a man, more than likely you're either bisexual or you're heterosexual. And so, I couldn't expect them to identify and fill that void that has been filled in my relationship with a woman. And there's so much there around the personal healing work that you can do personally that I've experienced in a relationship with a woman. And I think, you tie it to the maternal instincts and all of that. You can get, really scientific on it. But I think, there's been it's more of a healing balm with women to be able to heal some of the things that we go through just to be our authentic selves, right? And it's a safer place, right? So if that's something, when we talk about it, I think we have to speak to that piece of it as well. And yeah, I'm of that younger generation that had the U-Haul dichotomy in my relationship. So there's at least two of us out there.
I love that. And hey, Dawn, I want to go back to you because that segues into the is there a dating culture within the lesbian community? You're talking about being so small, right? That pool. And it's interesting because we know, I kind of read on that. So, and I'm glad that you mentioned on that, because is there really a dating culture within the lesbian community?
No. and between say no and if Sierra knows differently, then we need to connect our friends because my my girls are having a hard time. If they're not already locked down, then the people that are still single that are of a certain age are not dating material.
Yeah.
That sounds really I don't know. No. I can't lie. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But that's what
yeah, no, I am with you. I think, the thing that, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this. For me, one of the big things was that I was one of those lesbians that didn't think that I could date someone that was bisexual. So my wife identifies as bisexual, right? It blew my mind. I was like, this absolutely cannot, right? I was like, this can't work. What are you doing? It's like pouring water on it, like a circuit board. I was just like, no.
Come on, girl, we're high-fiving because that's awesome.
Listen, I was like, okay, okay, here we are, right there, high-fiving. It was like, I was like, there's no way. Like, I was just like, it blew my mind because I think when we talk about the pool being smaller, it's because lesbians have this idea, some of them have this idea that you just have to like women. And there's some fear there, right? Like, one of my greatest fears with my wife was like, eventually, like, yeah, you could be liking me, but how do I know you're not going to want a man eventually? Like, and I had that, and I was projecting that. And she's like, she has this whole thing. I care about the person, and and I'm like, I'm not that far advanced. And like my understanding of all the different acronyms and stuff to know that was real, but I've since learned that it's real. Yes. And so I had to break that out and say, okay, let me just step back, try it out, right? And let's see how it works. And now I can embrace it. But I think that's why the pool is so small, because we're looking at lesbians have to be absolutely 100% lesbian. They can't be bisexual. Right. And then there's also women that are testing this. Yeah. Right. And there are women that are in that testing phase. So it's like, it's cool to be bisexual because I want to test this out a little bit. And then I may not, and so there is some of that too, which makes you apprehensive about the candidates that you can choose from, right? So I think there's just that, there's apprehension, and there is reason for it in a lot of cases.
Yeah, well, we're gonna move a little bit forward for time because we try to keep it to an hour, but
yeah. So the one question is, what one assumption about your community do you that bothers you? And to give an example, like for me, is that because I'm gay, I need to know how to decorate. Decorate. It's like at work, they look for me and say, "Hey, Xavier, help." I was like, I did not inherit that gay gene, people. I did not inherit it.
Yeah, I would say for me, it is that there has to be a man in the relationship, that someone has to play that male role. That's probably what we challenge the most out of our entire almost 12 years together. We have that. No matter where we are, it's going to be a topic of conversation. And I had to also challenge myself to not fall into those roles, because that's what I grew up around. And that's what I've seen as being what is the right way to go about, building a relationship. So I had to do some personal work there, but it aggravates me that is the number one question that we get asked. And I don't want to play that role, and I don't have to play that role. It's like this. I don't want to. My wife kind of feeds into it a little bit because she's like, you should take the trash out. And I'm like, see, there's the gender role right there. There's nothing that says that I should take the trash out. So absolutely no. Like, we should share that responsibility, or I have to kill all the spiders around the house, like that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So help me help the community, and let's just dismiss that there has to be those gender roles in place.
Love it.
How about you, Dawn?
So I am I don't know. I've been incredibly fortunate in some aspects of my life, and being a lesbian is one of them. And I don't really have to deal with that anymore. I did in, in my teens and my 20s, but at this point, I've just, like, I'm not anything unless I'm a lesbian and my wife's wife and my children's mother. Like, so it doesn't, there's not anything that can, like, penetrate me anymore.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm living my authentic life.
That's awesome. And I was laughing earlier too because Michael Sharpton said Home Depot lesbians. It's like, oh
I aspire to be a Home Depot lesbian, but
me too. I do. If I'm honest, I'll go there just to walk the aisles and pretend that I have projects that I can do. I'm that person.
I love Home Depot.
Right now.
I love Home Depot, but I don't have the money or the talent to do those
really cool
do-it-yourself
guys
projects.
also go to Home Depot.
It's cool.
What do you guys think is some of your personal challenges, strengths, or even weaknesses that you have endured in your personal relationship with your wives?
So you're first.
Oh boy. Okay, we got 2 minutes. Okay, no. So, oh gosh, so if I'm honest, I came into my relationship with a lot of unlearning that needed to be done. I had a lot of I had this vision of what my life was going to be and how my relationship would go and what my partner would look like, and and how they would dress, and the makeup they would wear. I had it all built out. I'm a visionary in that way. And I have, what the gift has been in my relationship is that my wife has been my greatest teacher. She has held me accountable. She has challenged me a lot. She will not let me be stubborn when I want to not have to do that personal work, the hard work. She holds my feet to the fire, and she challenges me to be my best self. And so it was a process of unlearning that had to happen. That was hard. It was uncomfortable because I felt like she was trying to change me, and this is who I am. And for every other relationship I had been in, it was like either my way or the highway. And I can be very honest about that. I was that type of person because everything had to be wrong with the other person. Nothing could be wrong with me, right? It's like, nothing's wrong with me, it's you. So this isn't gonna work, right? But she held me accountable to my personal growth. And I think, that has become a strength of our relationship. And I came in with the weakness of trying to project these expectations on her and holding firm to them, not realizing that the gift wasn't just embracing who she was. And the gift was also in me unlearning a lot of what I had learned and, this patriarchal society we live in. And so it's just been, a constant process of evolution. It's highly uncomfortable. I still don't like it. So I'm not going to sit here with a Super Soul Sunday moment. I challenge it still. I'm like, no, I don't like it, but I see the good in it. And that has certainly helped us as we've had to go through some really tough situations in our relationship. It helped us build a very firm foundation, and it helped us to establish respect so that we could honor each other and we could build something that was really special. So that's my contribution to that.
Thank you. Dawn, you want to say something about that?
So I am going to say that my wife is amazing. Probably the most selfless person that I have ever met. And, we would be living a very calm and comfortable life had we not chosen to have children. So we have twins that are 5 that are special needs. They are severely autistic, and so we worry about their safety foremost. So yeah, you know, things aren't peaches and cream, but you certainly get to know who a person is when you have to face things that, every day we're faced with losing a kid that won't answer to their name. So my wife's awesome.
Great,
That's
awesome.
amazing.
And that's a different dynamic when there's children in the within the family.
Definitely. So the last question. If you could say something to a lesbian girl or a lesbian woman who is still kind of struggling with themselves, what is the one thing you would tell them?
Fuck society. Do what you want to do because at the end of the day, you have to go to bed with yourself, and you're strong enough to make what you want to happen. Just believe in yourself and do your thing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciara.
Yeah, I would say, there's nothing that you need to fix. That it's so important to be your authentic self, and to show up in spaces where there's opportunity to educate, the community at large. I think sometimes we can almost segregate ourselves in our safe places, right? And I think we really have to go into those environments where there's an opportunity to educate people on who we are, right? And show them the good in us, because I strongly believe that in doing that, that's an act of love, and love will erase all of the hate and all of the division. And I truly believe that. So I think it would be your authentic self, and don't be afraid to go into those spaces where your voice needs to be heard.
Right. Don't be shy.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to say to anyone who watches this that is struggling with themselves, before you have 4 queer people who are the best versions of themselves. We are not by any means perfect. We struggle just like every human being struggles. But if there's one thing that we don't do, is we do not apologize for who we are.
Yes.
We are who we are. We are 4 successful, culturally diverse people who love. And at the end of the day, that is what matters. Love. Love unconditionally.
Yes.
Love whoever you choose to love.
Love you guys.
No one is stopping you and should stop you from loving who you want to love. So like Dawn said, fuck society. Fuck what people think. Be you. And if you need backup, come to us.
Yeah, and we always want to extend that we're here for you as an organization. We are here to serve you. If you have to reach out to us, please do so. Go to Facebook, look at our numbers there. You can find us also through info@pricesupportservices.org. And we're here. You're not alone. Whoever you are out there and in need, this is what we're here for. So thank you for watching us.
Thank you guys for what you're doing. I am so excited to see the impact that you make on our community.
Thank you,
Dawn. Ciara, thank you for taking the time. I know that this was kind of like a last minute, and you both were so willing to do this. It's important to us. So thank you so much.
For showing up. I don't know how to do that.
Thank you. I enjoyed this. This has been great.
Thank you. So Dawn and Ciara, stay a few minutes. Don't disconnect yourselves after the live. And just thank you everyone for watching. We love you. Shout out to everybody who connected today to our live. As always, I cannot leave without saying shout out to my son, Cesar. I love you. I love you. I love you. And we'll see each other next week.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to do a posting on our Facebook. We're going to start soon, very soon. our support groups. Again,
Online.
we're going to do them online. We're going to do them through Zoom. So stay connected to our page for more information on that as well. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Remember, love is love. See you next time.
Yeah.